welcome to today's show on BHIS TV. And happy International Day of the Girl Child to all our amazing girls in Bayelsa State and all around the world. Today, the 11th of October 2024, is globally recognized as the International Day of the Girl Child, which is aimed at celebrating the girl child, advocating for the rights of the girl child, as well as addressing the unique challenges faced by the girl child all around the world. Now, in today's show, we will be discussing one of the critical challenges faced by the girl child, which is gender-based violence. Now, joining me in the studio on this discourse are two amazing personalities whom I will introduce to you shortly. To my far right, we have Dr. Dise Goddy-Harry. Now, Dr. Dise Goddy-Harry is the team lead to the foundation and also the project coordinator Support the Girl Child for a Better Tomorrow. And she's also the former FIDA chairperson in Bayelsa State. Yes. And presently, I
am also a former Nigerian Bar Association chairman. In fact, the first female chairman to have gotten to that level in the politics of NBA in Bayelsa State.
Amazing.
I'm also a former chairman of the Bayelsa State Gender Response Initiative team.
Wow. Great to have you with us in the studio.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's a
now,
pleasure.
To my immediate right, we have Mrs. Accrah Bekeowei. Now, Mrs. Mary is the Executive Director, Starrz Safety Initiative, as well as the Secretary, Support the Girl Child for a Better Tomorrow.
I'm still a member of the Gender Response Initiative team.
Wow, great to have you with us in the studio today. It's great to have you with us.
Thank you
so much for coming.
Thank you.
The theme for this year's event, the International Day of the Girl Child, is vision. Girls' vision for the future. Girls' vision for the future. And that's, I think, is striking. Now, to throw more light on this theme, I would like to ask our distinguished guest, my far right, Dr. Dise, tell us more about this year's theme.
I would say this year's theme is quite unique. It's apt, looking at the challenges the girl child has faced over the years.
Yeah.
I think it's quite apt. We need to look at the future of the girl child. We need to talk about the future of the girl child. Looking at the fact that the girl child has been abused, the girl child has been discriminated upon, the girl child has been married off at a very tender age, and the girl child is still looked at in most families as the weaker vessel, the one that needs to be in the farm while the boy child needs to be at home waiting for her to come back from the farm, join the mom to cook and all of that. It is quite apt, and we're excited with what we are doing today, talking about the issue of the girl child. Our future? Let me say something here.
Yes, please.
A person that is blind cannot even see. So this theme is quite apt because we're looking at a girl child that can see.
Yeah.
What is our vision for the next 10 years? What is our vision in the next 5 years? So I think the team is quite apt, and I'm excited to be part of the persons alive to celebrate the girl child because I was once a girl child too. Yeah.
The girls are the architects of the future.
Yeah.
They are the architects of our society. So we must give them the needed attention.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, now over to you, ma'am. What inspired you to become an advocate for the rights of the girl child?
Yeah, because the girl child, as we all know, is very important in the society. And when you see that the girl child is being molested, the girl child does not have a space in our community, does not have a space in the society, does not have a space even in the family. She's been molested over and over again in many aspects. You will not but cry over it. And that is why myself and Barrister Dise Ogbise are here today. That is why we needed to celebrate the girl child seriously today. So that is why I came into being an activist of the girl child.
A staunch advocate.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. Barrister Dise.
Yeah.
Have there been series of experiences or encounters you've had over the years that really provoked you into being a staunch advocate for the rights of the girl child and being a staunch advocate against gender-based violence.
I'll start with when I was 5 years old.
Yes.
That's where it all started. I was in class and I saw some boys bullying a girl child of my own age mate, and that sparked off that leadership role in my heart and in my life. I stood up against the boys because the issue of bullying didn't start today. I stood up against the boys and I said, no, you cannot do this to my own gender. And that was how it started. Now, moving forward, after I became FIDA chairperson, I've seen so many painful experiences, but two I will share with you today, and I hope I don't cry over in the set today, because the first one has to do with the father that defiled his daughter. He lost his wife and he kept on doing, having that relationship with his daughter, and then the girl got pregnant. And in the process, we got involved in the matter. Thank God the man is behind the bars now, but it was such a painful moment for me. Yes. And then the other one was the little child. A little child that wasn't even up to 8 months that was defiled by a neighbor that the mother had so much trust for. Those are very painful moments for me. Recently, we just got a judgment. I was the chairperson of GRIT, Gender Response Initiative team. We just got a judgment too on a young guy that came all the way from Bayelsa State, took his girlfriend to the bush and tried to cut off her neck. But thank God he has been sentenced to life imprisonment. Thank God she did not die, but he baited her with acid and all of that because he wanted to, So those are some of the stories that are so painful that sometimes we tell ourselves as gender advocates, we also need psychosocial support.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Over to you, ma'am. Now, we are talking about gender-based violence. Now, to our viewers out there who may not really have an in-depth understanding of what gender-based violence really is, can you just explain to us, give us an overview of what gender-based violence really is?
Okay. Gender-based violence is violence against anybody. Maybe against a weaker person.
Male or female?
Either male or female. But we are particular about the female gender because they suffer more. My gender suffer more. You all out there, you know that we suffer these things more than the men. Yeah, that is why we are carrying it on our head. Okay, so gender-based violence basically is that violence against the weaker person in the society, either man or woman, the disabled, the blind, anyone that you throw violence on, we fight against it.
Just to add to what she has said, I would say it's an inhumane treatment meted out on a particular individual. In gender, it could be male or female. Ill treatments, discrimination, battery, you are just violent on that particular person. That's gender-based violence. But it is against a particular gender.
Yeah.
All right, now, but still on you.
Yeah.
In spite of all the efforts, because globally, the International Day of the Girl Child began sometime around 2011. That's when it was acknowledged or put in place by the UN General Assembly. Now, obviously, there have been laws, in different countries to curb gender-based violence. But why is it that up till now we still have cases of gender-based violence prevalent in our societies?
I would think that the intervention strategy should change as we have risen up to the call to celebrate the girl child. I think the intervention strategy should change. We should look at preventive strategies. We should look at how we should ensure that prosecution of perpetrators of gender-based violence, the prosecution gets to a logical conclusion. Issues of settlement should stop at this point. If those things are done, I think it will reduce the rising cases of gender-based violence. And then also, it's also important that perpetrators are named and shamed. When I was the chairperson of FIDA, we had the name and shame advocacy campaign where we said if a man defiles a child, we will name and shame you. Yes, we said all of that. There's also what is done at the federal level now, where if a person is prosecuted, the register, we have that person that has prosecuted, that has that abused a girl child or had done any form of issues of yes, we have the sexual offenders register at the federal level, which has not been done here in Bayelsa. So we're hoping that it's part of what we'll do for I think we'll start it for 2025. We're also looking at working with the assembly members to see how we can have that. We need to look at all of that, the state government and all that. So if perpetrators are named and shamed and even punished without issues of without cases of these matters being settled, I think it will reduce the cases that we're having. Because if we talk about the laws, we have so many laws. We have the criminal code laws, we have the widow and widow protection law, we have the VAP law. I could go on and mention all the names all the laws that are gender friendly. But the challenge is also is the issue of implementation. Yes, we have arrested a man that has defiled a child or a woman. Allow us to implement the law. We'll see relatives coming to resolve such matters, relatives trying to settle such matters. How can we end gender-based violence on the girl child when we keep listening to these relatives that come to settle? Now, we have a recent case of a man that defiled a 74-year-old woman. Went to the bush and did all that he wanted to do. And he said it was the devil. The Lord does not look at the devil. The Lord does not listen, he's not even seeing the devil. If you commit an act, if you defile a child, the punishment is life imprisonment. Please, relatives, allow us to prosecute such persons so that the issues of these cases will reduce in our society and in our climate.
Thank you, Ma. You just said something before you rounded off, that relatives should allow the
allow us prosecute
the law take its course.
Yes. Don't you think cultural norms or values have a major role to play in the perpetration of gender-based violence?
Even cultural norms and values condemn such acts. I remember a man in one of the communities here in Bayelsa State that defied a little child that was selling pap. In the local language, you call it akamu. She was selling that, hawking, and then the man defiled her. What the society did was, what the community did was, he's the chief in this town. He was he was tied around the town and he was flogged very well. So cultural norms condemn such acts. It's even an abomination. Yeah. Let's take, for instance, the man that went to the bush to defile that woman. In fact, traditionally, he's going to do a lot of things before he can even make cleanse from what he has done. So the cultural norms also condemn such acts. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am, over to you now. Now, there have been series of gender-based violence cases in Bayelsa State and beyond. Now, for some persons, like the victims, right, who may not want to come out to report these cases, how can well-meaning individuals, right, see and identify that, oh, this person is experiencing such, and I need to take this matter up to maybe the police or report the case to the Ministry of Justice, the gender unit, right, to ensure that the perpetrator is brought to book. So how can one identify such a case?
As gender advocates, I want to tell you that we are secret keepers. We don't expose, especially the victim. We don't expose that person. So we have the
whistleblower.
The whistleblower will
protected.
The whistleblower will let us know before we will now take the matter forward. Yeah. In that way, the victim is protected. We don't bring the victim to book. Because especially when they say they don't want to come up. Yes. They want, like a case I handled last year. The whistleblower said he does not want anybody to know about what he did. I was the one that stood in court for him just because he said he doesn't want his face to be on the TV. I stood for him in court. I came and she was there. She's a lawyer and she entered the court and I defended. Is it defend
You
or
did
witness?
you made your report. You were a prosecution witness.
Yes. I said everything, and till today, you won't know the whistleblower that said that to me. So we are secret keepers. So you can confide in us at any
So our viewers can reach out to
Yes.
So we'll drop our numbers and they can
free to
reach
report
out.
to us. And we'll intervene.
Okay, ma'am, over to you now. Can you shed more light on some of the impacts of these gender-based violence on the victims? Like psychological impact?
A lot that I could mention here. First and foremost, stigmatization. The child or the victim, the survivor feels stigmatized, and the survivor might not have a life anymore. When the child is stigmatized, people know about it. The child does not have that courage, that boldness to walk around the society. One of the bad consequences is that of death. We've recorded cases of children that have lost their lives, women that have lost their life on cases of domestic violence and all of that. Issue of a child that we had a case of a child that eventually got infected because she was abused and she finally died of HIV. The little child died. An adult defiled her, and the adult was already infected, so he passed it on to her, and she also died. So the disadvantages are enormous. We've had cases where the child no longer wants to move on in life. The child becomes an introvert. The child no longer wants to speak to anybody. And then we have children that have been defiled at a very tender age, and they end up becoming children on the streets, and they've also defied other children in the process. It's like a ripple effect. So it's not something that we should talk about. It's not something that we should. It's something that, in fact, is like this is a call for action. This International Day of the Girl Child for us is a call for action. Like we said today during my opening address when we had the program today, I said the government cannot do it all. We thank God for the BHIS team that is doing what they are doing right now. They are doing their own part. As viewers listening to us, it's time for them to do their own part to see how we can support the girl child thrive in our society.
So let me just add something. There are so many women in our society today that has not giving birth, that are childless. In their little age, they have been defiled, and they didn't know that their womb got ruptured in the process. In the process. So this thing has affected many women in our society. Those of them that didn't even know that this happened to them when they were little, they are all suffering it today, and it leads to depression as well. Depression is equal to madness. If I'm free to say that, it's equal to madness. Yes, it's equal to madness. So many things have happened to our people, our gender especially, because of this.
Okay, now over to you once again. One of the major areas where GBV is prevalent is in a rural community.
I agree with you.
What measures are being taken, in these rural communities to curb gender-based violence?
Now, our project is supporting girl child for a better tomorrow. And I quite agree with you. The statistics we have so far, the complaints we have, the calls that come in are girls, the survivors, women from the rural community. So what we have put in place is what we have been doing, but we're trying to take it to another level. We'll do community sensitization a lot. We go from community to community, and we talk to our women, we talk to the chiefs, we talk to leaders of the community to see how they can support us in the fight against gender-based violence. We do not work alone. We work with medical personnel. We work with you too, you guys. So we have medical support for medical women. The legal part, we do it in Do Foundation. The psychosocial support, Starrz Safety Initiative is all out there to do that and all that. So we are interfacing with the community leadership, talking to them and telling them that there's a need for periodic sensitization and punishing of offenders. It is very, very important, because part of the challenges we've had is the fact that community chiefs, leaders also come back to us to say, and now, she's from our community. No, he's from our community. They are both from our community. Let's see how we can resolve the matter.
Out of court settlement.
Yeah, out of court settlement is also there. So we do a lot of community sensitization, and we've had a lot of calls that come in. The challenge we have is the issue of funding. Like I said, we are not government agencies, so the issue of funding comes in, but we try in our little way through our
and what about for the government agency like the Ministry of Justice? I know there's a department.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have the Citizens Right. I think Citizens Right Department that is into support. We also render pro bono services. We have the Ministry of Justice. We have Feeder to they are there and they are doing all of that. So even the Gender Response Initiative, they are doing all of that too. Great, they are doing all of that. So we have a lot of organizations that are volunteering to support victims of gender-based violence. All they need to know is who to run to, and then they will get help at the end of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Very impressive. Okay, ma'am, move on to you once again. Now, can you tell us how can our education institutions be a part of this advocacy against gender-based violence?
Okay. Right now, education is doing so much on this. I work with Suburb, and the last we had that was when they sent their team down for us to sensitize schools on creating safe space. Creating safe space in the sense that you have to be a friend to your child, for your child to open up everything to you. In the education sector, they are even creating teams in local government areas, and even in the state level, for them to be able to interchange numbers and talk to each other on what's going on in their school concerning gender-based violence. So it's okay there. And sensitization as well. Sensitization. Even we CSOs, we go around sensitization in schools, in the schools. So education is doing that. CSOs are doing
the education institutions play a major role, vital role.
Yes, because they are the ones that lead the children, they teach the children, they know what a child is capable of doing. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am, now over to you once again. Now let's talk about rehabilitation process for victims. For example, a female child is raped. What are the rehabilitation processes involved, and how does the state handle such matters?
Most times when these cases are reported at the police station, it appears to be some police officers that are not professional, do not know how to handle it. When a child is taken to the police station and the question is, why did you go there? Or the victim, the lady or the woman, what were you wearing? You've already killed that person. So the process starts from even the police station, where the victim is made to report. The professionals should be there to take that child or that survivor to show the child love rather than condemnation. Now, for us in Do Foundation, once we have complaints like that, what we do is we link up with the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, Bayelsa State Chapter. In fact, they've been awesome. Kudos to them as we have this conversation. They do the immediate intervention of examining the child and doing the parts that we will need to present in court, the evidence that we will need to present in court.
Okay, there has to be a medical report.
Yes, there has to be medical evidence. There's no without medical evidence, there's no way we can prosecute a perpetrator of rape and all of that. So all those steps are part of the rehabilitation process. And then we have our counselors, we have counselors, citizens counselors that will make them go through different stages of counseling and all of that. So that's how we try to help to rehabilitate the child, the survivor. The challenge we have in Bayelsa State is that we don't have a rehabilitation center yet, but I know we have a sexual assault referral center where we take them to and they stay there for some time and get all the psychosocial support that they desire and they need.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Once again, over to you. Is there hope for the future?
Yeah, that is this year's theme. It says the vision, the girls' vision for the future. Yeah. Yes, girls' vision for the future. Let us not kill the vision of our girl child, because that girl child can be a lawyer. That girl child you're seeing can be an entrepreneur. That girl child can be an accountant. That girl child can go further to be a doctor. Let us not ever kill the vision of our girl child.
Amazing. Let's work together collectively to ensure the vision, the dreams and aspirations of the girl child is fully actualized. Now, the last thing, the parting remarks, actually. Now, still on this, let's just look into the camera. We're going to speak to our listeners right now. For those watching and would want to support this initiative, the fight against gender-based violence, what can they do? How can they support? And how can they report such cases?
The number to call is 070-3544-0060. I'll take that again, 070-3544-0060. We are on Facebook. The Domestic and Gender-Based Violence Facebook page is there. We are on Instagram. We are on TikTok, and then we are also at Old Assembly Quarters, Abeokuta Road. Those are places you can reach us. But I think the contact 070-3544-0060 is one direct contact that they can reach out to us immediately.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dise. Thank you so much, Mrs. Mary. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so for the time, keep watching. Don't forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to our channel, HIS TV.
Bye.